So let's get down there to the Felt. See if Dave was able to keep his 6.
It looks like he's
there we go.
in the process of shuffling. So yeah, it's Jay's gonna be on the right and Dave's gonna be on the left.
Yep.
As soon as our spotter is able to correct those, we'll let you.
Tell by those muscular forearms they both have, right?
He's very tanned.
Dave is very tan.
Oh,
Dave,
so tan.
Dave, for those of you who don't know, works outside, general construction, and yeah, you can tell anytime you see him. Spend some time in the sun.
Oh, yeah, next to me in my pasty whiteys. Oh yeah, I'd be able to see it.
I want that tan, but I don't want that job. So it's kind of the trade-offs. Ronnie's saying he almost went to Montreal. I did go to GP Montreal. Took a group down there. Car load down.
Yep.
Got to see one of my favorite streamers. Kenji was down there representing. Just missed top 8, finished in 9th. But a good event overall. As good as sealed format can be.
That's true.
And then we have another GP coming up in Quebec City. I don't know whether I'm going to make the trip for that one.
Yeah, and then you have Detroit coming up.
GP Detroit coming up right around the corner. Guys, let me know if you're going to go to GP Detroit. It's team sealed. I'm going. My team is set. Really happy with the members on it. And we're getting some play testing in. Things are shaping up well. Let me know if you guys are looking forward to team sealed GP Detroit. And if you are, has your team gotten any testing? What are the cards you really think stand out as far as commons and uncommons in the set? And if there's any archetypes you'll be building around.
So I got some bad news.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Dave's.
Okay.
Going to Cinco.
Okay. Yep. Those hard moles.
They are hard malls, yeah. So I think if I'm Dave, I'd be happy with 5 lands, right?
I guess.
Like, just give me 5 lands. Just let me.
Maybe like 4 lands and a draw spell.
Yeah. I don't think Jade's particularly exciting when you're on a heavy mull, because you're not really getting anywhere.
No.
Because you can't really take advantage either, because you're going to be spinning your tires a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not card advantage. It's
you're
card
spitting.
quality.
You're spitting land out to draw.
Well, that's right. What are you discarding, right? When you're
land, hopefully, right? Like
yeah,
you could dissolve. Like it could still be good because you could get rid of some of the dead cards in the matchup. So like you could discard a languish to draw like into a land, or you could discard. So I think Jace is still fine as a filter.
Yeah.
On them all because.
But if you don't have those cards.
Yeah.
You get valuable like counter spells and other lands, and it's like. You just don't have the options, right?
No, it's true. It's much more limiting.
You're restricted.
But Dave says this is a match where he feels like he has everything to lose. Because he feels like...
He's the master?
Because he made the deck.
Yeah.
He's had more time with it. He's expected to win. Or he expects himself to win.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I mean,
right?
I don't think necessarily expect him to win it on a mirror match. I mean, a lot of things can go wrong in a mirror match.
Yeah.
That are out of your control, and I don't think anyone to blame, especially after the mulligan.
Yeah.
Even pre-mulligan, though. It's like sometimes, you know what? The opponent draws the right cards, and
yep. So coast for Dave going up to 21.
You can just lose. So it looks like Dave has a bunch of lands, which is good.
Dismal Backwater up to 22.
That's
padding the
where
life
he
a
wants
little
to
bit.
be. Yeah.
Jay had no Jace on 2, so he's not really getting huge advantage or far ahead here.
Now, if you're in Jay's spot, I think what you want to do is you want to be cautiously optimistic about the game.
Yeah.
And not just jump head first and say, well, he's only got like 3 cards, so I'm just going to start throwing all my spells out willy-nilly.
No.
Because that's how you end up behind if he's countering your crucial Jaces and stuff like that when he's got mana up. So I think if you're in Jay's spot, you still have to play it smart, play it tight, and just play as if he hasn't mulled.
Yeah. It's one of those matchups where... much like a UFC fight, when you see a guy getting really over-aggressive going for the knockout, the other guy ends up knocking him out, right? Like, you still got to be careful. There's still someone else in the ring with you. Ronnie asking, do you guys ever stream Modern events? So we're actually doing 2 weeks of Modern in the Standard Super League, and that starts next week.
Yep.
So next week's going to be Modern week. It's going to be exciting. I see a couple
guys. We're going to do Modern, and then we're going to be taking a little bit of time off.
Yeah.
For Modern, and then we're going to go back to it.
I see guys talking about Coco strategies, Jeskai Ascendancy strategies as far as...
Yeah, I'm actually surprised.
Combo.
The Coco really hasn't really taken off in terms of like the numbers that Pod used to have.
It is surprising.
So maybe it just goes to show you that it isn't Pod, right? That's like the lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's a quality deck, but maybe it just isn't Pod.
Not as reliable as Pod.
Exactly.
Because like there's some luck when you're Cocoing, right?
Yeah.
That you hit the right pieces.
There's no guarantee.
Pod, you just guarantee you get the right pieces.
So Dave is the first one to land a crucial spell.
Yeah.
Which is a Planeswalker.
We'll see if
so Jay's got the downfall.
There's the downfall to answer.
Yep.
But again, this taps Jay out and gives Dave the opportunity to resolve something, right? If he had something.
Yeah, but if you're in Dave's spot, you almost have to shake your head like it's a 2 of in the deck, and he. Now you drew your 2 of an Ashiok, but
Sure.
at the same time, it's like he drew his 2 of like, man, can't catch a break. Because if that would have gone contested, then
Yeah, you can
would've been
definitely like
huge.
loot a lot of value out of your opponent's deck. Just rob them of some of the spells they want.
yeah,
So it's funny, Dave was on the mall, but Dave's actually ahead in the land count now. Because Jay missed a land drop
and he's
and
continuing to
then
be
caught
ahead.
up this turn.
Yeah, so Jay's not really in a position where he can just start throwing spells down because he's got to be a little more cautious now that Dave has 6 mana up.
So Dave left something on top, off in the scry. Can't get
Yeah.
a good look at what it is.
And that's one thing I've come to notice a lot too. It's often not how many times you mulligan, but what does your hand look like?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times players will lose when the opponent has had the mulligan and they've kept 7 just because they kept a loose hand.
Yeah, sure.
The opponent recognized that they had a bad hand or a hand that wasn't going to get the job done, and mulligan is something more appropriate, and they win the game.
It's Purity. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you.
So it looks like Dave dissolved to dig through time, which is what I would say is what the most crucial spell in the matchup.
Yeah, and Jay tried to resolve Dig Through Time and it got countered, right? So it's just about who tries first, doesn't always succeed, and the guy that waits sometimes gets rewarded, right?
Yep. But almost sometimes you don't want to be the first one to blink,
Yeah.
because then that opens you up, and then we get down that road where Jay's gonna be ahead. But so we'll see what Jay's got. It looks like he does have another dig through time here, so it looks like that was almost like a warning dig. And then now he's dropped the Elspeth, so this is sort of the card that he baited with that dig through time
Yeah.
to land the Elspeth. Now I believe Dave. Yep, I did. I think I rightly so had seen that Dave had the downfall. But Jace does leave behind 3 soldiers. So those are going to need to be dealt with. And outside of Languish and Crux, he doesn't have too many cheap ways to deal with them. I don't see any Bile Blights in the main. So that means that he's going to have to potentially tap out on his turn to kill them, which then will let Jay resolve that dig he's got in his hand and all those kind of things. So it leads you down a road once you start the war. That you tap out, then they tap out, then you have to tap out to catch up to their tap out. Like,
Agreed.
it's cascading right at this point. So we'll see what Dave can do if he can maybe. So he has a couple languishes. So good thing with the languish in this spot is
Powerful Languish.
it's going to let him tap 4 mana, keep 3 up, which is your dissolves and all that stuff. So he's still in a good spot. And that's about as good as you're going to get from a languish.
Look at saying really expensive Hordling Outburst.
It was.
With the Elspeth,
well, it was
right?
expensive on both ends, right? Because he
Yeah.
took 6 mana to do it, and then he took 2 cards and
Yeah, we had a
7
really expensive
combined mana.
Hordling Outburst and a really expensive Bile Blight.
yeah. A lot of fetching going on.
Yeah,
Another
well,
shuffling of decks.
they just want to thin the decks, right?
Yeah.
And if there's one thing Control loves to do,
Shuffle.
it's shuffle. I wish we could cue up that
Kibler?
music video. Every day I'm shuffling.
Yeah, exactly. Shuffle. And Dave's got some eyesores on his board. So I like the theory, right, behind the white board lands that you can find them faster when you're fetching through your deck. But Dave's kind of gone against the grain by including a full art Zendikar Plains.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with that mana base.
He's like, hey, found this sweet Zen land.
Just
Want to
throw it
use
in there.
that?
Yeah, just throw that one in there.
Well, you don't want to miss an opportunity to use Zen land.
Yeah. And then Jay, of
more
course,
fetching.
has the full art islands in the card along with a regular swamp.
I didn't get a snack before this game.
You know.
Intermission, I'm going to have to get a snack. This is going to be a while.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be taking.
I don't see anything.
We need to
Resolving
get the
soon.
little popcorn and drinks and snack guys come out. Let's all go to the lobby.
Exactly right.
And at this point, Dave is massively outlanding Jay. Whereas Jay obviously is going to have a pretty stacked hand because he isn't drawing lands, but at the same time, if Dave's ever able to cobble together a couple spells here, the Jade might be in trouble. So he discarded a language last turn, and looks like we're going for the very first Jace of the match. Does it resolve?
So good, that card.
I'm going to guess it does, but it's going to eat some sort of price of the ultimate.
There is a price. There's a price for
Because that
playing
card
that
was
Jace.
that card was just itching to be used. It's like, yeah, this is in reserve. When you do play it, it's almost like every card has its purpose, right? The downfalls are going to be for the planeswalkers. The other ends are for the planeswalkers. The languishes and cruxes are for the tokens and Jaces. And the other ends, the ultimate prices are just exclusively for Jace. So Jay had a plan. His plan was, if he does stop it, I'm going to bring it back with Ojushai's command.
Yep.
So now he's going to get to untap
Back
with
it
Jace.
comes.
And he's drawing a card off it. So it looks like Dave doesn't have anything to really take advantage of.
No, Dave is a Languish Ojushai's command and can't quite make out the last card.
So Jay's making the uncharacteristic attack. He's drawing a card.
Just gonna, and look at the card advantage that Jay has over Dave right now.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the land, gonna flip.
It's going to flip.
What are we gonna flash back?
And yeah, there's many options you can flash back.
Are there any that we really like, or do we just uptick?
I believe that was an uptick.
Yeah, so we just uptick. He's going on the I alt Jace play.
Yeah.
You mill your deck play. Which is like
play.
It's a very good win condition, right?
Yeah.
In this match. So let's see if Dave has anything to get this off the field.
So now we've gotten to the dueling aspect of Jason right now. But I suspect that one is not going to stay in play.
You wouldn't think so.
But he's got the command, so he can try to force it through.
Yeah, he does have the command. So Jay's a command, but he's opting for the other end, playing around the command play. Heads up play.
Yeah, it's really heads up play. Well, that's right. He knows the matchup. He knows his own cards. That's what helps.
Because I think Dave has a couple commands that he could have fought over that to get it back, but he could just lose to this.
Oh, the thing about Jace too is, let's say he does play a planeswalker that he needs to stop it with. He's got Utterant and Downfall sitting in his graveyard.
Yeah.
Along with the Jace, right? So using it on something like a Jace may seem like it's not as great because it's a very flexible card, and using it on something that's quite narrow. He's preventing it from being brought back, and he's giving himself the opportunity with his own Jace to cash it back in later if he needs to. So it looks like he's minusing. And we're going for... Let's see. What Jay's going to target here? Well, you can tell right away because he brought 2 islands, tapped them. We're digging.
We are going for a dig.
Yeah. So I think what happened in this game is, while Dave was able to come back with lands, he didn't necessarily have anything to do with those lands. And Jay was on the opposite end of the spectrum, where he had all the cards, but didn't have enough lands.
Yeah.
And as you know what happens, when you get... You're better off being mana screwed rather than mana flooded.
Sure, definitely in this match.
Well, like in any match.
Sure.
Because you have more options when you do draw lands, as opposed to being flooded, where you don't really know when you're going to draw that Mystic. You might draw it on the wrong turn, whereas if you had the Mystic in your hand, you can play it as your first play. So...
One day everyone will see how good Dark Petition is. I think Dark Petition's a fine card. Allows you to go tutor something out of your deck, and then 3 mana, as long as you use Spell Mastery, and most times you will. So...
But did you really always want to be casting the card that you're funding, though?
No, you may not.
So the 3 mana, so you're paying 5 mana for a tutor effect? It's a little steep. In this matchup, it would be great if you're on Jay's side, because, Dave probably...
Even if you used it to find, like, Dig Through Time.
It's taking a card slot, too. That's the issue.
Sure.
So you're taking a card that's probably a removal spell, or, like... I feel like these lists are very tight in how they're designed, so...
They're very focused.
Goes and gets another card. It costs 5 mana, isn't particularly where you want to be.
Well, I think when you're running a card like Dig Through Time is a 4 of...
Yeah.
You're giving yourself so many looks at 7... that it's almost doing the same thing, right? Like, it's almost giving you the ability to go find whatever card you need. Especially when, like, last game we watched Mo dig through time 4 times. I can't think this is resolving.
No, this is kind of a desperation play. He's representing a counter spell, right? So if Jay goes to counter, he can counter back and then get it to resolve. And Jay tapped out right to his blue mana
Yep.
on his turn, so he's got a few swamps in play. So he may feel like Jay's got a little bit of a weakness at this point. But on the other end of the coin, though, your opponent just used a dig through time.
Yeah.
Probably got some amount of counter magic in order to protect themselves. But unfortunately for Jay, it's going to resolve. And the play you talked about where he's going to be able to bring back those removal spells he spent earlier is not going to be able to happen because the Jays is going to be swept away. And that's the cool thing about Ugin
Exiled.
right now is that Ugin
He gone.
can get rid of all the new Planeswalkers for 0 minus.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you a thing.
Free.
And Ashiok's coming down.
Planeswalker
So
number 2.
Dave smelt the blood in the water and said, well, you
Clash of
stopped
Will
me.
says no, though. Clash of Will says no, and it'll be
Interesting.
interesting to see if he has anything to clean this up.
Yeah.
But I think it's just going to be an Ochitai's command. Nope, utter end.
So, yeah,
So that's gone.
Jay was fine with losing his Planeswalker
Yep.
because he knew he'd be able to get both the cards he played
I
off the
think
board.
Dissolve is the draw for turn
Yeah,
here.
Dave's in a little bit of trouble now.
My own Ugin.
Now, Dave might be able to deal with this, but his hand still is only a few cards where Jay's got a stacked hand.
Uptick to your face.
And this is the long process of...
Yeah, and hopefully we found a win con here.
I was going to say, hopefully he just concedes.
No, he won't concede. Got a lot of turns before that kills anyone.
Yeah. Well, it's an ultimate, and then, yeah. Jay's going to be pretty far ahead once it does that. So we're going for the Ochitai's command.
Probably some gain life draw card, I imagine.
Oh, no, I think he's going to be returning his...
No, because it got exiled.
Oh, they get exiled? Okay, yeah. Then
Yeah,
obviously-
utter-ended.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Looks like
that's
the draw was
correct. You're
Aether
right.
Spouts, so that's not good.
Nope. But it's, I mean, it wouldn't be better if it was a Crux anyways.
No,
Either card is terrible.
bad
so.
in both spots.
Yeah. So the long... Yep, so I'll have 4 life, it's just on the turn. So yeah, Jay's just content to pass and sit on his Ugin. Now, do you think Jay's going to ever decide he wants to tick down, or is he just going to keep trying to go for kill?
No, I think he's just going to go for kill.
Yeah. But I mean, you'll feel a little silly, though, if it's at like 20 loyalty and he just draws a downfall and kills it.
Yeah, he will, but
Because you could have gained a bunch of cards, put a bunch of permanents in play.
I would love to alt it.
And he could have done it this turn, but he chose
He
to
opted
pass.
not to, yeah.
And that might be Jay believing that his hand is strong enough to stop anything that Dave potentially could
Yeah,
do.
I think it probably is. Like, I think I see numerous copies of Dissolve in there. He never has to tap out for anything.
Yeah.
Dave has to string through like a removal spell and 2 counter spells to get through what Jay has, so it's probably pretty safe.
So yeah, Dave's just digging. But like you said, we know Jay's got a bunch of counter spells, so he's gonna have to dig for a few turns. So we're up to 17 loyalty on the Ugin. And now we're going for the Ashiok.
Why not?
And I like the way Jay's doing this. He's tapping his mana very carefully in order to make sure that he's got enough blue mana to do what he wants to do on Dave's turn. And it's funny because he did hit a creature off Dave's deck.
Yeah.
That'd be Jace, the only creature
Yeah,
he hit.
exactly. But a great one to hit, right?
Oh yeah, that's where you want to be, right? Even if he never minuses, it's just good to have that off Dave's deck. It's always funny because it's like a consideration too now, I guess. If you're playing this deck to not just always slam every land you have in play because you want some cards you can potentially
Yeah, to
discard.
pitch.
Yeah. Now, when you get to this point in the game, you're pitching one card because it's going to flip immediately. But you don't want to be in a spot where you have a bunch of counter magic and you have to pitch one of them. Yep. We hit 2 dig through times and a land on that last Ashiok, so that pretty much just sews it up if there was ever in any doubt.
Yeah.
And Jay is going for the 4th dice on Ugin. And it looks like he's going to drop another Jace, so Jay ain't going to be minusing his Planeswalkers ever.
Nope. Although an alt is probably backbreaking, right? Like, I don't think you need it because his hand is so stocked, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's just content to just keep upticking everyone, kill Dave. He's got 2 draws left. Dave might have a last hurrah here, trying to force something through, but if Jay's got the cards we think he has, then that shouldn't be an issue. And we'll move on to game 2. That's the 3rd deck he's hit off Ashiok. And he's got another Jace. Dave's at 2. And he's going to scoop it up.
Yeah, it's just too much to come back from.
Too much. Too sad. Too bad. So yeah, that game was almost decided just straight on that Maul.
Yeah.
Maul to 6, I could see coming back, but that Maul
to 5.
to 5. It's
Too much to overcome.
really
He,
tough.
he
had
was
some
able to resolve
shots.
the first dig,
Yeah.
but
He got like an Ugin in play. He got some stuff to resolve. But
Jay had the answers.
Jay, yeah.
Really
Jay
had the answers.
Yeah. And Jay kept the kind of hand that you almost want where he had enough lands to be able to do some stuff.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of cards so that when he started to draw lands,
Yep.
he had all the answers right already there.
No, you're
And
right.
it didn't hurt that Dave was a little flooded on his multiply,
Yeah.
so that he couldn't really do a lot. He didn't have to worry too much.
Well, let's check out these sideboards. Let's see
Yeah. So who do you want to start with
who
first?
brings in what.
Dave,
Start with the one you got in front of you.
the Blogger's deck.
The blogger.
Mr. Rector. Okay, so his sideboard is triple Blight, 1 Dragon Lord's Prerogative, 2 Negate, 3 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Silumgar the Drifting Death, 4 Thoughtseize. Now, was Thoughtseize something they just didn't want to play in the main? Is that something they don't play in the main anymore?
I guess it definitely comes in this matchup, but I
Oh,
can see
100%.
like hedging against the mono red deck, which you don't have a lot of hate for in the main.
Yeah.
Maybe they just think Thoughtseize is too much of a liability.
Yeah, I can understand that. So the Prerogative's coming in for sure. The 2 Negates are coming in. 4 Thoughtseize are coming in. I guess you're going to be taking out your Cruxes and some number of Languish?
Yeah, I think you have
Or
to.
do you leave those in, take out the prices? Because I guess it depends on how much you care about Jace, right? Because if your number one target is Jace, you're going to want the alternate prices to be able to instantly kill it. Because I think the Languish and the Cruxes, they're a little too expensive in this matchup. They cost you like your turn
They do.
to tap out to do it.
Whereas like a Bioblade is doing essentially the same thing as a Crux in this match, right?
Yeah. So yeah, maybe just swap them all out. Take out the 3 alternate prices, 2 Cruxes, 3 Languishes, bring the 3 Bioblades, kill the tokens, kill the Jaces, instant speed, 2 mana,
Just go
everything
lean,
you want
right?
to do. Yeah.
Thoughtseize, Bioblade negates, and just go lean.
And the prerogative, yeah,
Yeah.
to draw more cards. And
So what does Mr. Dave have?
Mr. Dave, let's see. So we're looking at 2 Harassing Cleric, 3 Bioblade, 2 Negate, 3 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Silumgar, 3 Thoughtseize. So he's got the prerogative on Dave. He's got the extra Thoughtseize on Dave.
Negates are a wash.
Negates are a wash. The Bioblades are a wash.
So if you're Dave, you're going to bring in the Thoughtseize, the negates, maybe the Bioblights,
Yep.
and or not the Bioblights. You just bring in the Silumgar Drifting Death and rely on that to clean up the tokens.
Yeah, they both have it, right? So it's a question of whether they want to go that deep. It's not particularly strong, I think, as a win condition, though. It doesn't kill the Jace either, so...
No, but it's hexproof.
It is, but it's
They have
also
like minimal
a little-
ways to get it off the board, right?
They do.
Especially if they side out Crux.
It does negate the Elspeth, so there you have a point there. Basically shuts down the opponent's Elspeth. But I think he'll take out very much similar things, right? The Aether Spouts, Languishes, the Crux, the ultimate prices, potentially. So yeah, it's not a lot to think about, I think, in this matchup. A lot of the cards are going to
Yeah,
be
pretty straightforward. Jay was saying before the match, this is the one match he hasn't played.
Yeah.
So he's like not exactly sure. He has a good feel, control versus control, what he wants to be bringing in, what he wants to be taking out. He's like, but I have zero experience, playing against exactly the same deck. And I think in this, and he showed it kind of with the utter end play, right? That he was thinking about it from a perspective of, if someone was playing against me, what wouldn't I want them to do?
Exactly,
here?
yeah.
It's like I wouldn't want them to utter end this Jace. He's like, okay, I'll utter end the Jace. So
Yeah.
really solid lines from Jay, and Dave solid lines as well, but no chance to get anything going, right?
Yeah, definitely both players, you can tell, have experience playing these kind of decks.
So if I go get a snack, what do you want? For these next 2 games.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm I'm be getting myself some Subway afterwards, so I don't want to spoil my dinner.
There you go. Ronnie's saying not a big fan of Dave's sideboard.
Well, I think in this matchup, yes. If it was more of a mono red and say he's playing as Jordan,
Yeah.
then you'd probably like his sideboard a lot better.
Yeah, you'd be looking at Jay's sideboard going, I don't like Jay's sideboard. Why is he got these things in
Yeah,
here?
because like if you're looking at mono red, you have a very limited amount of cards. You're looking at like the Bob Lights, then maybe the negates.
Yeah, no Ration Clerics.
Yeah, no Ration Clerics. Silumgar seemed a little expensive for mono red.
Yeah, so this was kind of like a guessing game they both did.
Yeah.
Just
You're gonna see a lot more of it the further down the
sure. No, for sure. 100%.
league we go.
And you kind of have to guess, what am I going to play against and what are the good cards against those matchups, right?
Yeah. So me and you haven't played Jason and Dave, right?
Nope.
So both of us are going to expect to play potentially against a Planeswalker of the Esper variety deck, I think, in the coming weeks.
Give me some more downfalls on the board, maybe some
Yeah.
thought seizes, and I'm happy, right?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you're going to have to kind of anticipate. So that's why I think sometimes you'll see decks and you'll think, why are they running that in the main, or why is this particularly skewed in the sideboard? That's because they know what they're potentially going to be playing against
Yeah.
and want to hedge their bets.
And the thing to keep in mind is that, we're playing, there's only 10 players, right?
Yeah.
So after round 1, there's only 8 possible matchups.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're playing in a big GP field where you have to be ready for everything.
Yeah.
You just have to be ready for what you perceive will be the given meta of 9 decks, right?
Yeah.
So both on 7. We see Dave starting off with a coast, and Jay following up with a backwater, both going to 21.
Yep. So Jay's getting a little antsy over there. He's shuffling the hand up. I know Jay's a big proponent of trying to hide information. He's always shuffling his hand because he doesn't want his opponents to know.
So these guys hoping that Manlands come back in Zen. And one guy hoping that Wasteland comes back in Zen.
Yeah, I think I'd be really happy. I think I'd be really happy if they completed the rest of the cycle of the man lands and came out with the enemy pairs.
Okay.
Give me some kind of black, green, whatever.
Sure.
A red, white, double striking land.
Yep.
Give us some more of those kind of cards. I think that'd be a really cool way to complete the cycle, and it'd make the set feel more special as our.
I think you could definitely see
Zendikar.
some real Boros aggro decks coming out if you had a land like that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see too what the mechanics are going to be. I feel like they're going to bring back one of the mechanics, and that's probably going to be landfall.
Yeah.
Because it was a popular mechanic, and if they are going to bring back fetch lands, it works really well with those, and it's something that a lot of the cards that were pushed with that ability end up being in like tournament staples. Your step links, your plated GOPs, like there's a lot of cards in that ability that end up being quite good.
So first walker resolved. Gonna get one uptick.
And we're gonna go get yeah. Now Dave's already been in the hand, so he has a pretty good idea what Jay's running with.
Yeah.
Jay could have obviously ripped something in between then.
Took that negate to make sure it would resolve though, right? Like
yeah, that's how much he values this. And he figures, well, what are the odds he draws one of the 4 removal spells? I can take care of it right away. Okay, so he's milled over an Ashiok and a Silumgar, the Drifting Death. That's not bad in your Dave spot. I think getting rid of threats is always good. I mean, post-board games, I think getting rid of anything, it's going to be good.
yeah, I think you're happy to see those gone out of the deck though.
I mean, lands are always good too, because maybe he'll get stuck on lands, etc. But I mean, when it comes down to it, I think getting rid of their threats is always a good thing, especially when they're exiled, because they ain't coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if Ashiok's ever been better than she has been recently.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of. There's been times when she's been really good. Depends on, I guess, the meta, right?
Yep.
How many ways you have to get rid of planeswalkers, and they haven't really printed too many efficient ways recently to really get rid of. You have your Banishing Light and you have your Hero's Downfall, which are Theros block cards. So
yeah, and Banishing Light, kind of the less permanent of the two.
yeah, Command really kind of drove it out. Now with the Constellation decks taking a spot in the metagame, you are starting to see a little bit more of them. But yeah, I'd say it's mostly you're looking at either you're going to counter them, you're going to make them discard them, or you're going to Utter End / Hero's Downfall them.
Yeah, Darkstar is saying he hopes Lotus Cobra gets reprinted.
Lotus Cobra, that was a fun card. It was a little overhyped. It was definitely the most hyped card in the original Zendikar. Never quite lived up to that.
No.
But there were certainly decks that could abuse it, especially when you had Night of the Reliquary.
Agreed.
Because that could go get a fetch land, which would add mana, and then you sack the fetch land, and then you get another mana. Like you'd have these sort of turns where you can just snowball, really out of control with that card.
So Logan saying that the one card that exiles top 7 cards of your opponent's library would be crazy good. I think that's Talent of the Telepath he's talking about. Talent of the Telepath, exile the top 7 cards of your opponent's library. You can cast an instant or sorcery from them. If you have spell mastery, you get to cast 2.
And how much does it cost?
5.
Okay. So it's a little expensive. I think that's the biggest issue, right?
4, but it's a sorcery.
4. Okay. Sorcery. Yeah, that's the big issue, right? I thought initially if it was 5, I'm like, that's a little expensive, but even 4. Now, but I mean, if you could hit a dig through time off that.
Oh, if you hit a dig through time, full value, right?
I think that's the situation
If
though.
you
Where
hit
Wizards of the Coast
2 dig
looked at
through
it.
times off it.
Wizards of the Coast looked at it and said, "Yeah, we can't let this be a instant speed."
No,
If
instant would
you
be
end
too
a
good.
turn and force your opponent to have the counter, or him to they don't have a counter spell, they're going to be in a really tough spot. It's
Yeah,
the same
it's-
reason why you have things like See the Unwritten be a sorcery. There's a reason
Agreed.
why they created the sorcery card type. It wasn't because they want to make games less fun. They want to make games more fun, but not making these cards so ridiculously powerful by making them be able to be played at any time. And that See the Unwritten. Speaking of that card, I think that card's going to go up. We see any decent Eldrazi.
Yep.
That's a card just waiting for a big,
I
disgustingly
agree.
huge, Emrakul.
Like there's a guy that already tried in Green Red Ramp with Xenagod and a Tarka for 16 points of damage.
Oh yeah, the original Tarka.
Yeah.
Not even Dragonlord. Yeah, there was one I think in the list, but yeah, it was more focused on the original Tarka. So Jay's a little pinched on blue mana.
It's
So
gonna make it hard to fight over anything.
yeah, so if you're in Dave's spot, you almost want to do something at the end of his turn, maybe have him tap out, and then you can maybe force do something on your turn. But as of now, it looks like both players are content.
Just to draw go, keep their scry on.
Drago.
Jason keeping on top.
And this is where a card like Think Twice, which is sort of an innocuous card where you think that card is terrible. It's like 5 mana, draw 2 cards. Like Inspiration's 4 mana, draw 2 cards. But not only it's spread out, and they're cheap, right? It's 2 and 3 mana. So you're doing this sort of draw go situation.
Yeah.
You have extra mana. You're not worried about your opponent resolving anything in instant speed. Just fire it off. And this format doesn't really have things like that. It does have Anticipate, but as you can see on the list, neither player is running that card.
Siege Runner 1 wants to know your opinion on Green Black Elves. And Siege Runner 1, great to see you in the stream. I was actually in your hometown. Brad and I both were. Sarnia over the last
PPTQ.
weekend for the BPTQ Modern.
Yep.
And yeah. Great little place, Sarnia.
They had a really nice coffee shop.
They did have a really nice coffee shop.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
actually the highlight for me.
It was very nice.
That coffee shop.
But
It's
man,
great.
that chocolate drink I had was so rich.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, I almost had to eat dirt just because to offset the richness of that.
There you
drink.
go. So what do you think about Green Black Elves? Any viability there?
I think we're gonna wait to see what Zendikar offers us.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of did a lot of these creature type plants with the thought that there would be some support. Maybe not directly with a goblins get plus whatever, but there'll be like some sort of they'll be one of the main tribes and
More
then,
pieces and
yeah. I'm not sure if it's there quite yet. I feel like you need a card like an Elvish Archdruid
yeah.
would really help power up the deck because that
That'd be
card was
huge.
always a giant pain in the ass when it was legal.
Yeah, agreed.
And really, it doesn't take that many elves to make it good, especially now that we have Collected Company.
It's almost been legal a million times, right? Like it's
Yeah,
a card they
Oh,
just
it's been
keep
printed.
reprinting.
yeah. Once the core sets happen, they just love that card. That was their go-to every set.
Siege Runner wants to know whether it was coffee culture. Yeah. Coffee culture.
Yeah,
That was the shop.
but they definitely have great baked goods.
They do. I had a little like maple brownie
Yeah, it's like a cookie.
slash cookie
I know.
slash yeah, it did a little bit of everything and it was
I know.
delicious.
I realized that after I'd ordered that they had like a lot of good sort of lunchtime options. I almost wish I would have done that instead.
Yeah, it felt like about a good 2-hour jog when I ate it. That's about what it felt like would require to work that off, but
yeah.
totally worth it.
Oh yeah.
Jay and I are going to the gym now, so it's Jay's on week 9 of his gym training.
Oh okay.
I hopped in on week 9, made it my week 1.
You gotta start somewhere.
Was able to keep pace on the week 9 plan, but week 10 might get a little scary.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, no, I recently started swimming. In the pool at the house there, and I'd done it in years. And I honestly woke up the other day, my stomach was hurting.
Yeah.
At the middle of the night, I was like, man, the muscles in my stomach were actually sore from
Sure, not
swimming.
used to using them, right?
Yeah. So it looks like Dave has resolved to dig through time. which I don't know if that means anything about Jay's hand.
So C. Geronimo saying at his F&M, Green Black Elves went 3-0 for him. So
Can't argue with results.
Just ran through the competition.
There you go.
Hey, if they don't see it coming, smash them. Smash them good.
Well, if you get a couple of those green black, gold elf that
neg 8U, neg 8U. Okay, we're done here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a particularly nasty one.
Fetch lands do a lot of the work, right? So.
And you get cards like Sylvan Messenger, which is just another like draw spell. So you have like that with Coco. Like you have so many card draw spells.
It's true.
And a color that
Elvish
you wouldn't
Visionary.
expect it. Yeah. So many ways to get card advantage. So like, even a board wipe is in the end of the game.
You still read the bones in those colors. You have it's.
You could go as high
a lot
as
you can do.
Yeah. And then you're not necessarily tied into just doing elves too. You can add some other tasty finishers in the deck. So it looks like Dave's going for another dig through time after resolving the first one. And Jay's crossed his hand, so I'm guessing that this is going to resolve unless he's in deep thought.
Yeah, T-Split saying his last F&M was won by Logan Mize. And before I moved, Serrani was a frequent. I had the privilege of playing against Serrani at GP Toronto. Really great guy. Seemed nice.
Sounds like an excellent F&M to be at.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
Want to get better? Play Shaheen, play Logan and around. You know, you're probably going to get beat, but you're going to learn something along the way.
Yep.
And if, hey, you beat him, there you go.
I was fortunate to 2-0 Shaheen Serrani in our Winnabox tournament at GP Toronto, but he was a great gentleman about it. Thoughts he's being fired out here.
Jay shows him the goods. A lot of good cards. Looks like a double dissolve, Thoughtseize, dig through time, and utter end.
I'm surprised he wasn't willing to fight over this.
Yeah, it seems like
with the only dig through time in hand, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jay was worried about Planeswalker resolving if he fought over these.
Because if you're Dave, you're just going to take the dig through time, right?
I believe so. Because now you kind of can play around the dissolves, or at least have play them on an opportune time. Yeah, it seems very odd that Jay just kind of sat there and didn't do anything, especially on the second dig. Maybe the first one you're worried. The second one he tapped out, easily just fire off your dissolve. You have backup dissolve.
Yeah.
And even force through your own dig. I think at some point you could have easily done that. So yeah, Jay playing it really conservative. So this might go back to what you said earlier, though, that he hadn't really had any tested in the matchup yet. So maybe he's not sure what he's supposed to be countering or when he's supposed to be doing things. But he knew what he was doing the first game.
But Dave's not rushing to take something, right? So he's obviously thinking about this a lot himself.
He's going for that dig. Yeah.
Come to the conclusion.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to go for that dig.
He's like, we fight over the card draw, and my card draw resolves and yours doesn't. I'm going to win.
So right now, Dave's currently up at least 2 digs.
Yeah, T setting exactly with you. He says, no joke, learn every time. Most of the pros are the nicest MTG players ever.
Yeah, and there are some that aren't.
Sure, of course. Well, law of averages, right? You get X amount of players. Some are going to be douchebags.
Well, I think some, too, the pressure gets to them, right?
Sure.
As that would beat anyone, especially I think something like a Grand Prix, where there's no much pressure to not only day 2, but to produce a good finish. And if you're playing in one of the last rounds and you need to win, I feel like they're under the pressure.
Yeah.
And they may not be as courteous as they would be if you played them on something more casual like an F&M.
Yeah, agreed.
Where the stakes aren't quite as high.
Agreed, because there's a lot of reputation there, right? It's
I
their longevity and their livelihood.
To a pro at Grand Prix Detroit. That was a couple years ago, Modern. And I remember he was concerned about his opponent's sleeves because there was a bend because he had a couple foils of the same card. But he didn't go after him for it, but he just kind of was like, do you ever all your cards like that? You asked him some questions to kind of figure out whether there was an issue there, but eventually he was satisfied with his answer. But yeah, he was definitely a gentleman, but I could see, I've heard stories of other people having.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen both good and bad interactions with pros.
But I think more recently, I think there's more focus though on them having
positive interactions.
Yeah, because they are ambassadors, right? And they
get
paid to go to things like Grand Prix. So yeah. So this Jace is taking another trip to Utter Endville.
CKG78 will do. I'll tell Jay you say hi.
Is this the man?
And T wants to know opinions on the draw that led to the other player losing out on top 8 because of a draw in round 15 at the Richmond Open. Did he draw with a pro under the assumption that he would make top 8 and then the math wasn't there?
Oh, Todd Anderson approach again?
Because I've heard of that happening more than once, and there's even guys that have written articles that talk about You know,
Never
I told my opponent that he would be fine. And by fine, I meant that he would finish in, the top 10 or 15, and that would be fine. That would be a good finish. So
I'm gonna get in, and you'll be fine.
yeah.
I'll be super okay. You'll be fine. So Jay's finally decided enough is enough.
Yeah, we're fighting over something.
I'm gonna dissolve something here.
Damn it, I'm doing something with these spells.
Yeah, it's one thing you learn, especially at competitive Magic events. Never trust your opponent.
No,
I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in they don't have your best intentions at hand.
Never do they have your best interest at heart.
Even something like a draw, like we can both draw, and I would double check, make sure the math works in for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just take what he says at heart, because unfortunately sometimes people are wrong and don't do it. They might not do it with an intent to mess you up, but it happens. And at that point, you really can't blame anyone but yourself if you don't do the due diligence. So the Jace Wars are commencing. And so we traded a Downfall and an Utterend in an attempt to KO the Vin Prodigy himself. And Jay's going to say no again. He's got that Dissolve up, and we'll see if...
It really feels like this is worth fighting him over.
Yep.
And the problem is Jay only has one blue source up, so if Dave fights back...
And it looks like there's an Utterend that he might...
So Dave just might go, yeah, that's fine, and then Utterend it.
So Jay's being very nice. He's laying out the cards.
So this is where the stack... He's
creating a virtual stack here, even though he's got the Downfall on top of the Jace, which isn't technically accurate.
No, it isn't.
Because the Jace is already resolved, so that's in play. Otherwise, it could be targeted. So it looks like the Dissolve's going to resolve.
And now Dave has to decide whether he wants to just Utterend this off the table.
Or maybe he's looking for a dig. So this is an interesting line if he, to maybe not respond, but let him keep the Dissolve, because maybe he keeps the card on top with the assumption that it's a Jace. Or maybe he sees a Jace on top, and he's like, I don't even already have one. Bins it off the Dissolve, and you go, I want to kill it now. And he's like, well, I just threw another Jace at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that he let him... Because I feel like if you're in Dave's shoes, you don't want to necessarily let him ever untap if your intent is just to kill it anyways.
T, are you talking about the player who ended up winning the tournament that could have conceded to Jim?
And there goes...
Here comes the Utterend.
Utterend, and we're doing the graveyard check. For what, I don't know.
Because in that situation, it was a spot where Jim Davis couldn't draw into top 8. He had to play.
Yep.
Clash of Wills, so good.
But Jay only...
Oh,
had no hand.
Look at this top deck.
But he knew it after the Dissolve, so he was
ding,
like...
Ding, 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 winner, winner.
So he's going to pick a card he doesn't care about, and one he cares about, and pitch the other one off the Jace.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, because it's like... you pick two really good cards, you might lose one if you want to activate your Jace, right?
Assuming you find like another dig through time.
Yeah.
So I see Ugin. Looks like 2 copies of the Planeswalker, and some land.
Yeah, that's fine. If you take like a land, even, I just would feel bad if I had like 2 really good cards and drew a third one off the Jace, and it's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
losing some value.
So I know at the Richmond GP where Abzan Rally won,
yeah,
Jim Davis was in a spot where he couldn't draw into top 8, but his opponent could concede to him and still make top 8.
Okay.
And that was the Abzan Rally player that was playing against Jim Davis. And he's like, well, I have no reason to concede. So...
But positioning matters, though.
Yeah, of course it does.
That's the one thing.
So he's like, I have no reason to concede. And Jim's like, yep, I guess we're playing. And then he 2-0'd him and eliminated him. So, too bad, so sad.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, to be honest.
C. Drano asking, what are your thoughts on Mana Gorgia, Hydra, and Elves? I think
it's long as... too slow.
It's a 3-drop. It's fine if you Coco into it, but I think like that requires you to play a lot of spells to
maybe
get
not
full value off
when
it.
You want to be putting more spells on the table.
Yeah,
get that control. But to go back to your point, though, I think like he's 100% in the right to not concede.
Yeah,
and I think the only reason why people are talking about it is because it's Jim Davis, right? And I don't know if it's because people feel like you're obligated because it's Jim Davis. You should just concede to let him in. But it's almost better for everyone else in the top 8 if you knock out Jim Davis when you have the chance to, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Like, And there's also the other point where you know what, maybe Jim will help him in the future, you know, blah, 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 you know. If he felt maybe if they're in a similar position again, then Jim would concede. But at the end of the day, it's really up to him, and you can't fault him either way for doing whatever he did. He still wants to win the tournament. Winning the tournament means putting yourself in the best position to win. In his case, that was trying to be the first overall seed to be on the play.
Put me against the 8 seed. Put me on the play.
Put me on the play the entire round. So yeah, I don't have a particular problem with that.
Nope, I think it's right. And Darkstar, Brimstone Games is exactly right. Mike Wazowski is queued for the Pro Tour. Had a decent showing last Pro Tour, and put himself in a spot to play it again. Run it back, and hopefully he can have a good show.
Get on the choo-choo train.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
So here we got this Jace, which is
flipped into a Thoughtseize.
Not good.
So I was able to peel a card out of Dave's hand, and looks like Dave's going to be going.
Dave's looking for a dig.
A dig, yep.
A little dig time.
And Jay, unfortunately, didn't have enough blue mana to leave up anything resembling a counterspell.
No.
So we're looking at.
Don't counter me with your Bow Blight, bro.
We're looking at a couple of Orzhov lands, which is going to scare nobody. And yeah, Jay's just taking a look, seeing what he removed, and here comes the dig.
Should have gotten a snack. It's gonna be a long one.
Oh, it's gonna be a long one. It's okay.
We still don't have like a solid win con. Like,
oh no, that Jace is miles away.
Really far away from.
Yeah, and can easily just die.
Molting.
Easily die.
Could die right here.
Dig. Yeah. There's a crux, so Dave definitely left the cruxes in.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Respecting the dragon, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Dave is known to, when he's ahead, remove his win cons. Obviously, this is in the same situation, but...
So speaking of dragons...
The non-sneaky variety?
Yes, the drifting death variety. Here comes one.
Yep.
And we'll see if Jay has any crux of his own to get this off the table.
And the funny part is, being hex-proof, Jace is doing the MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Can't touch this.
Can't touch this.
So he can take it down. So I'm wondering if Jay, if he doesn't have a way to deal with it, would think about maybe just cashing in for another Thoughtseize. Saying goodbye, Jace.
It's got to go anyway, right?
It's going to go. Might as well take it out.
But he can't even do that because it's neg 3 for the down tick.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking
it's forced to go up.
I'm thinking of Liliana with her minus. So yeah, no, you can't even do that. Yeah, you're right.
Forced to go up.
Yep. So we're going to see here, though, if Jay's got anything to deal with it.
Jay's an Ugin, though.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's going to kill the Jace anyways.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing to play. But there's a prerogative, too. But Dave just cashed in a dig through time, so you got to be wondering, did he take the counter spell?
I think he only is 1 man up, though.
No, but I mean like for next turn, though.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Because that's going to start spiraling, right?
Yep.
Dave can spend 3 or 4 mana to get rid of it. Does something else, we kind of... It's going to keep tumbling. And the one nice thing, though, is that even though the Silumgar does have a high converted mana cost, this matchup isn't the one that you're going to see a lot of haste creatures, a lot of burn spells, a lot of anything that's going to be able to chip shot away that Ugin. So
I think if you're Jay, you have to cast the prerogative now while your opponent's tapped out because you don't have a dragon to make it uncounterable.
Yeah.
So here we go, swapping out some black for some blue. That way we can rep negate.
Yep.
Goes, let's go for the prerogative. Start filling up that yard so our dig through time can do some work later.
This is where you want to do it too. Looks like there was
a bunch of lands.
Ooh, doggy. So he's maligned to let the Jace die.
It looks that way.
And play his own Ashiok.
He's faking a Foul Tongue. Bluffing Foul Tongue invocation? No, just Ashiok. Okay.
Okay.
So it gets to negate.
Dave looked like he's got an ultimate price now. But it could be wrong. The angle of his dangle was not directly proportional to the degree of light hitting his hand. Yeah, it definitely looks like an ultimate price. So he's chosen to take down the Jace while he had the chance. And Ashiok's twin brother, Schnookernuk, has arrived.
Yeah, twins.
We got twins.
I have a way to get yours off the table. Do you have a way to get mine off the table?
But luckily for Jay, he's got a bunch of lands and an Elspeth, which is useless while that Silumgar's on the board. So not the worst, but it is yet another win condition, so there's only a finite number of those in these lists. And there also is no way to shuffle the deck, so there's no elixir or immortality to drag the game out infinitely. And Jay's got the Elspeth already in the hand, so he's got a second copy there. So we're ticking up. We've hit the second of 2 negates. So that Ashiok flip was negate, dissolve, and dig through time, I believe. It was a really good Ashiok flip.
It seemed fun.
It was a very good Ashiok flip. So Jay's going through all the different piles. I know Marrow talks about it not being another zone, but honestly, it feels like the exile pile is just another zone now.
It does.
Like, he's like, oh, we don't want to make cards that interact with the exile zone. That's why he hates all these, torn elementals.
Yeah.
But it's like, it really feels like a lot of these things. Like, even like the game, right? You have to check to see what you exiled out of the graveyard. Like, it's still an involved part of the game. And to me, if the intent is to make an exile pile, it should be, don't care. Don't even look at that pile. Like,
but because of fetch lands and how many basics you run,
yeah,
you
there's
need to
so
always
many
look
reasons
back
why.
and-
Yeah, it's not a really an exile from the game pile. It's a graveyard number 2 pile,
Yeah.
which is when do we get to the super exile pile?
Big Daddy Ugin coming down.
That's gonna be next.
It'll be interesting to see what Jay wants to do with this.
Yeah, I think he's still gonna want to.
It's going to want to uptick? Or just clean all this up and start over?
He's gonna shoot it down to 2. He's gonna go up to 4 on his turn. I mean, he could toy around with it a little bit and try to get rid of the Ashiok the old-fashioned way by just shooting it.
Yeah. And kind of leave the
The
Silumgar
to-
stuck between the 2 targets.
Yeah, like which one do you
Ashiok
want to go
and
after?
Ugin.
Yeah, because in this game he's definitely gonna want to ultimate him the first chance he gets.
I agree.
So he's like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "Counter, nope,
So
can't
he's
counter.
gonna
It's
draw a
not
card?
not a creature spell."
Looking for a
Dave
counter
goes,
spell? Nope.
You hit both my negates, so he did.
So he nags it all and leaves an
This is
Ugin.
what I was talking about earlier, where there's no way to get rid of it. So 1 as good as 20. It's still gonna be in play when Jay taps, unless he's got drew the downfall.
I think he
which
just
did.
drew a downfall.
But that would kill it regardless. So
Sure.
So I think that was good on Jay's part to get as much value he could out of it,
Yeah.
knowing that there's a good chance it would die.
It sucks because he lost his own Ashiok in the process.
Yeah. But that's what you get for playing these dirty planeswalkers.
That's what degenerate control players deserve, right? They're
Oh, yeah.
planeswalkers being exiled.
Yep, you're going to play it. You have to live by the same rules that everyone else does. The Overlord.
Oh, maybe he didn't draw it.
I thought I saw it too, so
I thought I saw it too, but
maybe he's...
could just be our minds wanting this game to go on longer.
That's what it is, I think. 24. 3 points a turn. 8
Lightning
turns.
bolt.
8 turns, that's what we're looking at.
And not enough spells to protect it, right? Like, I don't know. Let's see.
He's got the Elspeth in his hand.
Is that really necessary?
I don't know.
I guess it depends if you have any way to protect this, right? If you don't have any way to protect this, then you might as well just fire out another
Yeah, you might as
another
well,
walker.
right? Because he can't Ugin out away everything, right? And there's no vault, so you really have no worry. If he's gonna kill it, he's gonna kill it. And Jay's kind of, he's worried. He's like, do I go? No. Do I go? No. Yeah, let's just go. And he's doing the gentleman thing. He's counting it out for Dave.
Yep, needs another white source in there.
Or unless he's
going for the dig.
Dig. Ooh, interesting piece of the puzzle. Yep, we're going for dig through time instead.
Yep. Exile 2, tap 6,
He
dig through time.
wants a prerogative in there in case he gets another Jason can flip it.
Yeah. Heads up play.
Yep.
Here we see multiple counter spells. Negate, dissolve. Looks like Jay is picking a Thoughtseize and a dissolve, but I just want the 2 negates. Like, I want the negate and the dissolve.
Oh yeah, you definitely want the negates, I think.
Jay's taking the, he's leaving the negate and going with the Thoughtseize.
That was a very tasty, juicy dig through time.
I don't care about the Thoughtseize.
No.
I just don't care.
And this is where he's going to pop the Oh, I do not like letting him untap.
No, neither do I.
Do not like letting him untap.
And you let him dig through time? You let him dig through time, too.
I don't know when it was going to get any better than when it was on his turn. I don't know. And Jace is like, which one do I want to use?
Seemed greedy.
He's like, huh. So you're going to have one card in your hand. Okay, I'm just really confused on what's going on here.
So you let it go.
Oh, man. I'm just...
And he shows him ultimate price. Okay, discard the
I
ultimate
think I'm
price.
out. I'm out.
You have no cards in hand.
I'm out.
And Jay's going to ride a Elspeth to victory, I assume?
I will never know.
Oh, Thoughtseize.
I will never know what's in control players' minds.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
Guys,
never know.
guys in chat, tell me, is that normal? Because I would just counter it.
It was like one mistake and another mistake.
Although if you assume that Dave's other card is a counter spell, then you're going to lose that counter war, right?
We hadn't dissolved negate.
No, he didn't, because he didn't take the negate. He took the Thoughtseize.
Oh. Yeah.
So he had like double dissolve.
So this train's going back even further, right?
Yeah, back in the station. Choo-choo. Here
Choo-choo.
comes Elspeth.
Okay, win condition is
He's
back
hoping
online.
this is the road to victory.
Well, Dave's handless.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Trey.
Trey, he's pumping it. Oh, we're going fast now, boys. Check out. Choo-choo.
Don't forget to uptick that. There you go.
There
There's
we
John's
go.
beautiful hand.
Our hand model
Guessing
for
the
day.
dice.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, Elspeth's a little bit faster of a clock, though, which we can all appreciate.
Ace and Deuce saying he countered his opponent's mistake well.
He did. He's like, no. You're not going to make the mistake. I'm going to make the
Yeah.
mistake.
Oh, you think you can just let me dig through time and then downfall after I've kept counter spells? Well, you are right, sir. You go right ahead.
But I'm going to take that useless ultimate
But I'm
price in
taking
your
this
hand.
useless ultimate prize out of your hand. That's for damn sure.
You are not going to have a card in your hand after I'm done with you.
You are not going to enjoy that ultimate prize. No.
My tokens are all going to live.
Forever.
Oh! Is he going to let it resolve?
Well, he's got counters, and he has a downfall.
And another end. And let Jace.
So, downfall.
Yeah, why not?
Give him 3 blockers.
Give him 3 blockers.
Stretch it out a little more.
But at least, hey, he under end. Is it still in the hand? The downfall got used.
Yep.
That's the right line. Okay, here we go. Now he's going to attack.
You got to attack, right? Just wait until you ult and then fly him all in.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have to do anything, right? So
You don't have to do anything. So there's...
we're not the boss of him. We can't tell him what to do. He goes, hey, you know what? I know I'm going to ult this next turn and win, but why don't we kill 3 of your guys while we're at it?
Or why don't we just let you take 6 damage and then next turn you can attack. And if you have like a draw like a useless ultimate price, you can actually pick off one of my soldiers so you can survive another turn. I mean, realistically though, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Dave's got to draw something that's going to deal with it.
If I'm Dave, I take this, though.
Oh, 100%.
I like pick off 3 of those tokens and...
Yeah. Now Jay's just like thumbing through that bad boy.
I don't know for what, though. Like, I think he has all the pieces
I
he
don't know.
needs.
Control players love
He has
to
a
look at their
Jason hand.
graveyards.
Yeah, he has a Jason hand. So if he wanted, he could, like, flash back a prerogative or a dig through time or something.
Sure. Oh, they like looking through. See
There he goes. Here's the Jace. All the greed.
Yep.
And Dave's like, I have no cards. Just do what you want to do.
Man, how good would a Perilous Vault be right about now? Perilous Vault, but backed up by a Thoughtseize.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And Dave's thinking... And he scoops up with the Jace.
Yeah, just a
Extends a
Jace.
hand.
Jason Rector taking it 2-0. That's our last match of the night.
Master has
The
fallen.
student has defeated the master.